Welcome to Woo Woo with Rachel Dratch, the podcast that explores the unexplained with humor and curiosity. Hello and welcome to Woo Woo with Rachel Dratch, here with my pal and co-host Irene Brevis. Hi, Irene.
Hello, sweetie.
That was my big fake energy. Hi, Irene. Trying to get some energy going for myself, that is. So today, we're really excited. We're going to go full tilt woo-woo here. We are joined by Dr. Amy Robbins, who has her own podcast. Well, first of all, she's a therapist, but also, which is my road not taken of career choice. I'll get into that. But also, she has a podcast called Life, Death, and the Space Between. So let's say hi to Amy Robbins. Hi, Amy.
Hi, ladies. I'm so excited to be here.
Yay. Well, we're excited to have you. We were browsing and listening to your podcast, and you cover all sorts of topics that, well, some that we've covered here, some that we would love to cover here.
Oh, yeah. I can go out there.
Yeah. And also, not only are you a practicing therapist, you're also a medium, correct?
I am, but I don't practice mediumship.
Right.
I'm a medium.
But you have this. So I want to hear all about that, how you discovered that. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your backstory in terms of, becoming a therapist, but then also veering into or being open to the world of life, death, and the space between, and how you got into all this.
Well, I was lucky enough that world just spontaneously opened up for me. So when I was 18 years old, my aunt was waiting for a kidney and pancreas transplant. She had juvenile onset diabetes. She had been sick for most of her life, and she was waiting for the transplant. And while she was waiting for the transplant, they did all these medical checks, and they realized that her heart wasn't going to be strong enough to withstand the transplant. And so they needed to go in and repair her heart. And when they went in to repair her heart, it was much more damage than they thought it was. And they were unable to get her heart restarted. And so she died on the table. And she was the age I am now. She was younger. She was 47. And I got that call, that dreaded call that so many people have gotten, that like you think that you're going to get the call, everything's okay. And you get the call, she didn't make it. And I remember just like dropping to the floor, it was just unimaginable to me that this had happened. I come from a family of physicians. My grandfather was a pediatrician. My uncle was a doctor. Like you just didn't die at 47. It didn't make sense in my mind. And I had a couple of young people close to me in high school die, but nothing like this. And it just felt wrong and out of order. And I was only I came home for a very short time and went right back to college. So I didn't have time to grieve. I didn't have time to really understand what was happening. This was my first, what I call out of order death. Didn't make sense. And for years, I really struggled with a lot of anxiety that predated this, but was exacerbated by it because I, in my mind, had equated, like, she was young, she was the oldest of three kids, I'm the oldest of three kids, like same birth order, just similarities that I had sort of created this story, as we know our minds do, that I might find myself in a similar position. She had gone through a really terrible divorce that had resulted in her needing to go back into the workforce, into a job that probably resulted in her demise, frankly. And we know so much more now about how stress affects our systems and cortisol levels and all of that. So in my mind, I could not end up like her. And so I became extremely driven. I was going to get a job. I was going to support myself. I was never going to find myself in a position where I was going to sort of be beholden to someone else telling me what I needed to do and the direction I needed to go in. But I did not go right into psychology. I went into radio sales, and I was miserable and quit my job. This was sort of a spiritual awakening. I quit my job. I went back to waiting tables. I volunteered, and I found myself in graduate school for clinical psychology after volunteering at Children's Memorial Hospital, which is now Lurie. Fast forward a little bit, and when I was in my second year of graduate school, right before my cousin got married, her son, I had my first visit from her. She came to me. I know. I know. Just wait. Everybody's like, oh my God. She came to me. It's actually my second visit. I had an earlier visit from her, but I didn't realize it was a visit because I didn't know there was such a thing. She came to me. I was in a dream. It was in that hypnoponic state when you're sort of waking up from that dream or from sleep. She came to me and very, very clearly, she was sitting at the kitchen table in the house I grew up in. And she said to me, my mom was standing at the kitchen sink. She said, let your mom know I'm going to be there. I'm going to be at the wedding. It's okay. And then she showed me an image of her with my uncle. And she told me, let him know I hear him when he's talking to me, when he's out walking and talking to me. I know what she shared with me specifically, what he was talking about. And she said, I know what he's talking to me about, and told me this is when I hear him. So I was like, okay. She left the room, and I remember sort of seeing that energy leave the room. And suddenly my dog starts barking really loud. And I kind of wake up and I look at my husband and I said, Aunt Linda was just here. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, she was just here. She was talking to me. And I shared what she said. As soon as it got late enough in the morning, I called my mom. I said, Mom, I had this crazy dream again, because I didn't have words for it last night. And Aunt Linda came to me and she was talking to me and she said, you don't need to be upset. I said, I saw you. You were at the kitchen sink. You were crying. You don't need to be upset. She's going to be there. She's going to be at the wedding. And my mom started crying. She said, I was standing at the kitchen sink last night. I was talking to her and I was saying to her, I can't believe you're not going to be there. I can't believe you're not going to be at the wedding. And I had the goosebumps and I was like, okay, that's crazy. I called my uncle, same thing. I speak to her when I'm out walking. He knew exactly what I shared with him was what he spoke to her about. Yeah. And I was like, all right. Something happened and I don't know what. I know it wasn't a dream because as real as we are talking today, this is how real it was when I was talking to her. So I went to grad school that day and I had a professor who was trained in psychodynamic, really traditional psychotherapy, but also I knew brought in indigenous healing practices into her work. And so again, intuitively, I was like, okay, maybe she can help me sort this out. So I went to her and I told her what happened. And she said, I think you're opening up to something. She gave me Sylvia Brown's book and she gave me the name of a medium to go talk to. And I'm like, okay, I don't even know what this is. I don't know anything about mediums. I mean, I'd heard about them, but this was 25 years ago. So it wasn't like they are now where it feels like, so many people are mediums. And I put it to the side because I was like, I'm in the throes of grad school. I can't really pursue mediumship. And I decided, okay, I'm not going to deal with this. Fast forward to about 5 years later, my grandfather passed away. I'm in private practice. My grandfather passes away. Same thing happens. He comes to me as my cousin's getting married. Apparently we love my dead relatives love to come back for weddings. And he shares with me information that I wouldn't have known, a nickname that my cousin's future husband called her, some, questions she was having. I delivered this information and she said, you're exactly right. And then it started happening with patients' loved ones where they started coming to me. And I was like, all right, I gotta get a grip on this. Like I can't be working clinically with people and having their loved ones coming to communicate with me because that's not why they're coming to me. They're coming to me for therapy. They're not coming to me because their loved ones are trying to get through. So I was stuck. So I took that number out. I called that medium that my professor had given me years before, and I started working with her to try to figure out, what do I do? What is this information? Crazy stuff was happening in my house. My husband was like, I don't understand. Lights were not just flickering, my entire house was under siege, lights going on and off. It was so intense. And he's like, you got to get a grip on this because we can't have this happening. And so I did. And I worked with this medium for 2 years. I did readings for people. And then I kind of put it to the side again. I just could never, because I was practicing clinically, now I had 2 young kids, I could never quite figure out how do these pieces go together. And there were, and finally at this point, there were more people starting to talk about being mediums. And the medium that I went to, may she rest in peace, Dorothy, she was amazing. But she was like what you picture a medium to be. She had like crazy, crazy orange hair and like crystals everywhere. And I was like, this is not, I mean, she was amazing, but this isn't this isn't how I see myself. So can I start to like connect with other mediums who might be more like me, who are moms and serving on school boards and raising kids, and they have these abilities? And so I started to find other people who were also interested in this. I had a woman come to me and she was like, let's do readings together. And at this point, again, I was like, I'm going to put it to the side. This isn't anything I'm curious about. I don't want to do anything with this. She comes, we each bring in someone to do readings. I bring in my friends, a friend of mine who I'm not super close to. And the friend comes in and I do a reading and her father-in-law comes through and he shares sort of all the like, tell my son I'm so proud of him and I love my grandson and he's wonderful and this is how I died. And nothing felt like really incredible to me as I'm doing the reading. And I said to her at the end of the reading, and he's showing me this blue ring, and this ring has like a class ring with the blue stone in the middle. She's like, okay. She goes back to her husband. She tells him all about the reading. He was sort of like, yeah, kind of generic. And she tells him about the ring. And he says, yeah, my dad didn't wear jewelry. So, I mean, great, but I don't think it's him. He goes home that weekend to Philadelphia, where he's from. Within minutes of him being home, I have the goosebumps telling this again. His mom walks out and says to him, I just found this ring of your dad's and I feel like he'd want you to have it. And it was, exactly the ring that I had described. So I was like, okay, all right, maybe there's more to this. So I opened my doors and did like 3 months of mediumship readings for people. I was just like anybody. I didn't charge for it because I'm like, I need to do an internship because I'm trained and I have to like practice and make sure that I'm legit. And after 3 months, I was like, you know what? This isn't really what I want to be doing. It just didn't feel, I'm so used to doing deep work with people. It didn't feel juicy enough. But I was like, okay, well, what do I do? Because I have this information. I know these things. I know one of the things I forgot to mention earlier was when my aunt started visiting me, my anxiety decreased tremendously. And so after that, I was like, all right, there's something to this here. And that was really what ended up being the birth of the podcast, was like, okay, I'm grounded in this clinical work, but I have these experiences. And it feels important for those two to come together in some way. But I don't want to be a practicing medium. I love my work. I don't want that to change. So what can I do? And then it was like, oh, bring this information to people in a way that they can start thinking about how it might be impacting their lives, or how it could impact their lives if they shifted and started seeing things a little bit differently. That the material world in which we live is not all there is. There's so much more. And for me, it opened up this whole world of conversation. Like I said, my anxiety is, I mean, not to say that I never have anxiety because I'm human, but my anxiety around like what happens when we die and am I going to die? And of course I am, but like, am I going to die at her age and what's going to happen? And it just like diminished, and my need to grip the wheel of life so tightly fell away.
Oh,
wow. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's in a sense, even though we have a more comic sometimes vibe on this show, but sometimes not. But I feel like that's kind of was my motivation too. Like I always loved hearing stories, not necessarily just about the world beyond life, but even whatever, like kooky ghost stories or psychic, like just the idea that we don't know everything. It gave me some form of comfort in the way that you're saying, like on a deeper level is how you're saying. But I think that's part of our motivation too. We don't have we've had some of our share of experiences, but nothing like mediumship at all. But it's really fascinating to hear.
But that's the thing, is that I think that so many people have had these experiences or are opening up to these experiences. And I want people to like invite them in, invite those experiences in, because I've seen mediums before. I've had readings, and even when I leave those, I'm always like, is that did they really know that? Or am I creating that in my head? Or maybe I made something fit that didn't really fit. But no one can take my experience away from me. Ever.
Right.
My aunt and I, we were in conversation, and my grandfather and my patients' loved ones, and I've had patients' loved ones that come through in session now, and I'm in a different place, so I allow it to come through, and I ask them, are they open? Many of my patients now know. Yeah, and so it's very real.
So cool. Imagine being your therapist and just being like, oh, you get this bonus round of this loved one coming in. That's so cool.
Not always. I can't guarantee it. And I don't like invite it in, but sometimes loved ones can be very pushy, and they're like, I am coming in. And again, I don't know why some do and some don't.
Everyone I know is talking about GLP-1s, and I was this close to trying them until I remembered, well, I prefer natural options over injections. That's just me. I know GLP-1s are all the rage, but this podcast is sponsored by Veracity. Welcome to an all-natural way to slim down, get energized, and sharpen your focus. Veracity is revolutionizing health by tackling the root cause of so many issues, metabolism. With Veracity's drug-free, clinically proven, and doctor-formulated solutions, you can support your body's needs to live your healthiest life. If your goal is weight loss, you need to try Metabolism Ignite. It's the #1 doctor-recommended GLP-1 booster and GLP-1 alternative. Metabolism Ignite has sold out 10 times for a reason. No side effects, no allergens. And Metabolism Ignite is a natural, safe, plant-based aid that results in an 85% reduction in hunger and is clinically proven to lose, on average, 9 pounds in 90 days. Whoa! I've been taking Metabolism Ignite for a couple months now, and just 2 capsules with breakfast, and I feel energized and focused all day. Don't even need that morning latte anymore, sweeties. Veracity founder and CEO Allie Egan is a certified hormonal health coach, and her personal experience with metabolic issues inspired her to develop holistic solutions for achieving optimal health. So what's in Veracity? Well, it's a unique blend of lemon verbena and hibiscus extracts, green coffee bean extract, and magnesium. And plus, even if you are on GLP-1 medications, Veracity is safe to take along with GLP-1 medications to aid in boosting your metabolism and appetite control. I love when something is scientifically legit, but doesn't come with a warning label that makes me panic. Just 2 capsules every morning. Sticking with Metabolism Ignite couldn't be easier. So before Metabolism Ignite sells out again, make the switch to GLP-1s the natural way. Head to veracityhealth.com and use code WOO for up to 65% off your order. Once again, that's VERACITY health.com for up to 65% off. And make sure you use my promo code WOO so they know I sent you.
Well, this is what I was going to ask you, a couple things. One is you're saying you can't just turn it on, because I was wondering the idea that you can turn it on for every single person that walks through your door, that seems difficult to me, but maybe some people can do that. But I was wondering that, sometimes does it just the flow has to happen? You can't say, okay, right now I want to reach this person, or what is the experience for you?
Well, I think it's like anything. Some people are naturally born with a greater gift for it, right? I grew up in Chicago, so I'm never going to be Michael Jordan was my era, right? I'm never going to be a Michael Jordan, the equivalent of a Michael Jordan medium. I don't think I have a family. My mom is very intuitive. They're very empathic, my mom and my grandma, but they've never had these experiences. And there is some research that shows that it does run in families. So, and you'll hear this, people will say from the age of 3, I, saw apparitions and ghosts. And that's never been my experience. I've been curious, but never oh yeah, I didn't even have an imaginary friend. So I'm very left-brained. But what I think you can do is you can certainly practice. And for me, I don't practice it. So when it comes in, I'm always a little bit like, oh, there you are again. But when I do really, like in the times where I have, like when I was doing these medium internship readings and I was super dialed in, I was super dialed in. And so I say like I would be probably a B plus medium. When you're in the state of grief and you are desperately searching and wanting to connect with a loved one, I want to make sure that the person that is doing that is like the Michael Jordan of mediums, because there's so much skepticism already. And if someone is in pain and they want to connect and then they go and they have this experience and it's like, oh, all this stuff that I believed, like, it's not true. It's not real. And then that just sets people back. And unfortunately, there really isn't like a criteria for people, for mediums. I mean, there are some places, Forever Family Foundation, Helping Parents Heal, amazing foundations that vet mediums, but there is no formal vetting process or, you know, anything. It's just sort of, are they good? Are they not good? Like, do they, I mean, the criteria for it is like how many yeses and nos, like how many times do they have a hit? And I know there's so many times where it's like, you feel like, is this person just like throwing spaghetti at the wall and eventually something will stick and then they'll be like, oh,
like, I see roses, like that kind of thing.
Right.
Like was there a watch? Like, no, not in this case. There's no watch. You know what I mean? Like, but like you just throw out generic, almost like heirlooms and funeral imagery, and then you're bound to get something. Like that's where I'm sort of
like they really loved you. Or they're there and they're saying how much they now love you. It's like the evidence needs to be there. That ring that showed up that day, right? Like that's that was like the evidence that I think you need.
Is yours often, I mean, you said you had the couple dreams. Is it often dreams or like, if you're like, I always wonder that phrase, Irene, maybe you've wondered this too, of like when someone says, like, oh, this person, they really want to come through. I'm always like, what does that sound like or look like to the medium person? Like, is it a visual, like someone's knocking at the door? Is someone shouting in your ear? Like, what does that mean?
So when I've experienced it, I almost feel like my left side of my brain like shuts down. And so I can't think anymore. Like my attempt at trying to like come up with words or think is gone and information just comes in. It feels like separate for me. Like this sort of, and people can't see, but it feels like it's, you know, like almost like a bingo card, you know, when the little bingo cards that have like the little, doors that you move to cover the bingo cards. That's what feels like happens for me. Like the door closes on the left side of my brain and the right side of my brain now, information just comes through. And it's hard to say. Like I don't necessarily hear. I just know to give that information.
It sounds like a download of some sort, right? Like an etheric download.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. It's like a knowing. I mean, even like I've been listening to some of your episodes as well. And I was thinking about like where ideas come from. And I'm teaching a course for therapists now. And the information for me just came in just like that. It was like, boom, downloaded, very clear. Like here are the six modules for the course, go teach it. And it was like, it came to me in the shower, which is where a lot of my
the shower, yes. Oh my God.
Because water is such a great conductor of information in that way. It's like electricity. And
oh
so
my
it
God,
just
I
like,
love that you just said that.
Yeah, it just came to me and I was like, okay, like I don't know. It wasn't spoken. It was just suddenly there.
I love this because that applies to creativity too. Like trying to think of sketches or jokes or whatever. Like, you know, in the past I would sort of gnash my teeth more and struggle. And then I've sort of learned that that's where the best stuff just comes like in a download, like what you just said.
Yeah. Like sometimes when I'm struggling and I was struggling with this for a long time, I was like, I know I'm supposed to do this, but why does it feel so hard? Like, why can I not come up with what this should look like? And I have like Google spreadsheets of like different ideas of what this, and nothing felt right. And finally I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to ask for help and let it go. And that's when it came to me. And so sometimes I'll do that. a lot of times I'll do that when I can remember to get out of my left brain and just be like, okay, I'm going to let go. I'm going to surrender. Bring it to me.
Exactly.
Bring
Yeah.
it to me.
Do you see images of people like how they look, or is it usually just like the message or like the symbol? Like you can't really, or you don't really control seeing this loved one. It's more like, I'm just wondering how you experience this for us, us non-mediums.
I don't see per se. It's just like, I mean, maybe I hear a little bit, but it just feels like it just comes in like a wave.
Ooh, okay. Wow.
I've had that happen to me when I'm writing. You know how when you're on a flow and you're writing and you don't know how these words are coming to you all of a sudden, and you look down and it's almost like that freestyle writing when you're in that almost meditative state.
Exactly.
I imagine that it's something like that for you when you're receiving all this information spontaneously. Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. And I've also been able to use it a little bit. I mean, again, I'm not a practicing medium in my practice. I want to be very clear on that. But I have had the experience of seeing people in a past life. I've had the experiences of knowing exactly sort of where someone got stuck in their development based on what information kind of comes in. And that stuff I have seen. Like I've sort of had an image in my mind's eye for that feels different than the message that comes through when it's a loved one coming through. It's like a very clear image of, like, for one of my clients, she was on her bed when she was young and she was crying, and I knew exactly the age and exactly what happened. And when I brought it into the session, she was like, yes, you're absolutely right.
So, like, let's say you're treating someone, like, maybe this is what you're kind of saying. Like, could you kind of see, like, if someone had abuse or something, do you ever, like, see, like, get visions of what happened to them, or it's not that psychically connected for treating someone?
Yeah, again, like, I don't actively kind of practice that, but sometimes it will just spontaneously happen.
Comes, oh, wow.
Yeah, which can be a little bit, I mean, this summer, actually, one of my goals is to like revisit some of that, because I think again, I'm very left brain. So for me, it is a practice. And the more I'm like doing life, like mom stuff and life stuff, and the further away from it I feel. And so I try to every summer sort of reset and recalibrate and bring myself back to it a little bit more to strengthen that muscle, because it does feel like something I can't just expect for me personally to just happen all the time. I really do need to work at it. And I do need to be in a place where I have the time to sit, to meditate. I do breath work. I do sound. I do lots of different healing modalities to try to clear myself so that I can try to be more receptive to the information that's coming through. More for me personally than for anybody else.
So just last week we had someone with, like, it just so happens we have two guests in a row with kind of the similar sort of areas, but we had someone who had a near-death experience, and she got into sound work, and she practiced.
I was listening.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was about to ask you, like, how do you practice? Like, even for me, I consider myself intuitive, I guess. But since I started doing this pod, I feel like I'm getting more and more, like, I don't want to say skills, because I don't have these kind of skills, but more
You do, probably.
channels, I guess. Yeah.
Attuned.
But I would love to sort of work on this, like, and I have no idea how. So it's interesting to hear you say you practice this, sort of being open.
Yeah. I mean, I practice a lot around my own energy. So like, how am I, like, I literally just had a sound and breath work this morning. So, and I cleared out so much energetic garbage. Like, for me, breath is it's insane. If you have not done breath work, if you ladies want to come to Michigan, my breath work and sound practitioner here is like, it's next level. It's like nothing I've done a lot. I've not done a lot of breath work. I've done a lot of sound, but because I found her now, I feel like no one will ever be what she is.
Ooh, okay.
It's incredible. And I just have recognized through this work, and also through some psychedelic experiences, how much physical energy the body can hold. And so to me, like, today, even what happened was like I released through screaming. This might freak people out, but and so my energy centers were screaming like the sounds of the chakras. Like each chakra sound got lighter and lighter the further up I would go, and my body, she gave me this feedback, was like moving to like waves to the sounds of the chakras, and it was not me. And so I think it's just one of the things that I'm really tuning into now for myself is like, how am I keeping my own energetic being clear?
Ooh, that's such a good, I don't want to say reminder because it's not like I knew this. I feel like I'm learning a lot just doing this and the people we talk to.
Yeah,
but that's such
so
a
much.
good, just human reminder, I guess, because we do go to our day to day and we get all our to-do lists and all that. And this isn't even in my head, but I feel like this would help with the day to day. This would help with everything to be more just grounded and in tune with your soul, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, I think that's the exact word. And I think we don't realize how much of other people's energetic garbage we're going through the day picking up on all day.
We're like magnets. It's so true. And there is something to be said, the soul, but the body responds to the soul too. And, that's when we start getting sick. And so it's very important to pay attention to that. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And every time I do this work, whatever healing work I do for myself, one, it allows me to be a better, I don't like to say I'm a healer because I think we each heal ourselves, but I facilitate healing in people, right? I'm there to guide them. And the more I can deepen my own understanding of myself and the more that I can deepen my own understanding of the energetic body, of the psychological mind, it only deepens my work and helps me better understand the people who I'm serving.
Yeah. Or even just as a mom, like that's a good, or a parent, that's a good reminder. Like, of course you're going to be a better parent if you are not taking your crap. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you're not blocked up and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of gunk that we take in that we don't even realize. And the first time I had such a release, I felt like I rid myself of cancer. I know it sounds crazy. I have no proof that that's actually what happened. I wasn't sick. There was nothing like for sure, but I just left and I was like, you had stuff inside of you that has just been collecting and it's not yours, but it was there and you just got rid of it. And a lot of these, the previous guest you had on, I heard her talking about her near-death experience and how she uses sound to help people connect with their higher selves. Like, there are so many modalities that help us clear out these diseases that we're carrying in us that we don't even know.
Yeah. It's like an exorcism of sorts,
Yes.
just getting rid of all this negative that we're also, that you said that we're absorbing from other people too. It's not even our own shit. It's everybody else's shit.
Right.
Of course, my dog Ruffles is the perfect pet, but if you've ever owned a pet, you know that they run on their own logic. Jump first, think later, ask questions, never. It's part of what makes them so lovable, but it's also how you end up with surprise vet visits you didn't see coming. And that's why ASPCA Pet Health Insurance helps cover eligible vet expenses. So when those moments happen, you can focus on getting your pet the care they may need instead of stressing over the cost. The ASPCA Pet Health Insurance Program offers customizable accident and illness plans that can fit your budget, your lifestyle, and even your pet's particular quirks. Because, let's be honest, vet bills can add up fast. ASPCA Pet Health Insurance has been around for almost 30 years and has covered over 1 million pets. And when it's time to submit a claim, it's easy. Just use their app and receive reimbursement for eligible vet bills directly into your bank account, so you can get back to focusing on what really matters, your pet. To explore coverage, visit aspcapetinsurance.com/woo. That's aspcapetinsurance.com/woo. Again, that's aspcapetinsurance.com/woo. This is a paid advertisement. Insurance is underwritten by either Independence American Insurance Company or United States Fire Insurance Company and produced by PTZ Insurance Agency Limited. The ASPCA is not an insurer and is not engaged in the business of insurance.
And besides, breath work and sound work, and I guess meditation, like, are there other sort of big ways of doing that? Or is it just so many that, like, I mean, you said psychedelics, like, are there just so many modalities, or are there like, here's your starter pack kind of thing, like those things?
I think I always say to people, pay attention to what resonates with you. It could be just walking in nature. But I don't like someone telling me like, this is the way you have to do things. I feel like that I'm like, well, if I can't meditate, no one should force me to meditate if that doesn't work
I
for
love you. Yes.
Like, I'm not a journaler. Don't ever ask me to sit and journal. That is just not my thing. And so that's okay. I've found other things that are my thing. And I think we have to all sort of find that thing that resonates with our soul. And then we'll do it. But if you say like, you have to sit down every day for 15 minutes and that's the only way.
Right.
Well,
it becomes a job. And once something becomes a job, it becomes like obligatory responsibility, and it's shrouded in all the things that we're trying to avoid. That's a very good point. Thank you for sharing that.
And then it just feels meaningless. Like you're just going through the motions to get somewhere. But there is no soul then behind what you're doing. It's like, all right, this is what they told me. This is, what I was prescribed to do. So I have to do it. I mean, I can go to all different realms in sound, breath. I can travel. I can have my guides come in. They can do psychic work on me. But in meditation, I meditate, but I can't get to those same spaces that I can through other modalities.
So in terms of mediumship specifically, can someone open that channel on their own? Like, I'm very curious about this. And I also want to know what you think about signs too.
Oh, I love signs. I think when we start opening up, and Rachel, maybe you're seeing this as you're doing this podcast more and more, you're starting to pay more attention and you're starting to see the signs and synchronicities that are showing up for you. And I think that when we are opening up to this, that's sort of the first step to show us, okay, you're on the right path. And to me, that's also when your vibration is a little bit higher. And I hate saying this because then it's like, well, if I'm not seeing the signs, then my vibration, that's not the case. But so often, so many of us are walking through our lives like completely unconscious. We're just like not paying attention to anything. And so when people start to see signs, to me, that's like they're moving towards a higher level of consciousness without judgment. It's not good or bad. It's just like you're moving in a direction of seeing the interconnectedness of what is. And ultimately, like you've had people on the show that have talked about this, like that's why we're here, is to recognize the interconnectedness between all of us and the interconnectedness of the people who we love who have now crossed over. Like they're just not in a physical body anymore, but their consciousness still exists. And it's just a different way of vibration. They're no longer confined by this sausage. I call it my sausage suit, the shell of a physical body. And so signs can really be that communication. And I could tell 1,000,001 sign stories. I mean, I have signs that happen. I'll tell you I have 2 super fun ones. You want to hear them?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Share.
So my grandfather, the pediatrician, who not a believer in any of this, like we never even spoke about it. But when he did die, I said to him, Grandpa, like as he was dying and as he was crossing over, I said, you got to show me something. You got to, come on. You got to believe in this. Like when you get over there, I want a sign. I didn't say this to him literally. I just in my mind said it to him. We're on our way to his funeral and I turned down the street to go pick up my sister. And it's a street that I would not normally turn down to go to her house. And on the street is a car with a license plate that says Kids Doc. My grandfather was the one who was the pediatrician. So I was like, oh, wow. I mean, I asked for a sign, I got a sign. And for some reason, for me, license plates are my spirit. You too?
Yes, big time.
And I think part of it for me, I've sort of asked this question. It was like, because that's something that's grounded in this reality that becomes undeniable. So if I thought I just like heard something, or if I saw a cardinal, right? Those to me, I'm like, okay, like cardinals are everywhere. Like I need the real sort of the juice of it all. Like I don't just want, I don't just want
specificity.
Exactly. So another fun one. So one of my very dear friend's husbands died of a brain tumor. And at his funeral, they were talking about his distaste for mayo. He hated mayonnaise. And I'm sitting at the funeral and I said to him, Darren, you got to show me mayo. Like that's going to be our sign. I need mayo. And that weekend, there was this woman who came to speak at a bookstore. She was doing a book signing and my girlfriend couldn't go because she was at the Shiva. And so I said I would go and I had this book signed for her. And this woman also lost her husband by a brain tumor. So there were like a lot of similarities. And I'm driving home and I turned down the street and in front of my old apartment building, which was 444, which is my angel numbers, there is a car with the license plate that says Mayo. It's 2 nights after he dies. Like I'm just coming back from this experience and I'm like, you can't make this up. You just can't make this shit up when it happens. And then it becomes undeniable because you're like, I asked for it. And this is, Rachel, what you were talking about. Like you can ask for these things, but you have to be open to how they might show up for you.
And you have to be aware.
If you felt stuck trying to lose weight, you're not alone. Enter Weight Loss by Hers. It's designed to support you in reaching your goals. And Hers now offers access to an affordable range of FDA-approved GLP-1 medications, including the Wegovy pill and the Wegovy pen. Everything is 100% online through Hers. You'll connect with a licensed provider who will determine if treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is delivered right to your door. No insurance necessary. And it doesn't stop there. Weight Loss by Hers goes beyond medication by offering access to 24/7 messaging with your care team and tons of in-app lifestyle and nutrition tips like recipes, meal plans, fitness videos, sleep content, and more. Even better, with a range of affordable GLP-1 options, Hers makes it simple to find an approach that fits your needs and your budget if eligible. You'll get a treatment plan personalized to you and unlimited dosage changes as needed. It's weight loss designed to work with your life. Ready to reach your goals? Visit forhers.com/woo to get personalized, affordable care that gets you. That's FORHERS.com/woo. forhers.com/woo. Weight Loss by Hers is not available in all 50 states. Wegovy is the registered trademark of Novo Nordisk A/S. To get started and learn more, including important safety information, Wegovy clinical study information, and restrictions, visit forhers.com.
So we had someone on here, Casey Wilson, who's an actor, and she was talking about signs, like hearing this song that's never on the radio, like asking for her mom. Anyway, she told me, because signs were for me kind of like final frontier. Like I didn't know if I really believed it or not, but she told me like what you just said, you have to ask for the sign. So I didn't ask for this per se, but a few weeks later, I just wondered in my mind, not saying out loud, I wondered whatever happened to my dad's old text chain on my phone. A couple days, I'll abridge the story, but a couple days later, I got 2 texts from, like, I have a mom and dad still on my phone. I got 2 texts at the same time. The first one was from my mom. The second one was my dad's old text chain.
Yes.
And then since then, but when I called my friend to tell me about it, there was more on the chain. Like, it had left off where he died, but then there was more on the chain after that. Like, that said, like, I'm on the other line. I can't talk right now. I'm on the other line.
No.
Yes.
Oh my
I did
God.
an episode about
Chills all
I did an
over.
episode. I know. And then since then, I'd had 2 other experiences with my phone where I went to send like pictures of my son with his other grandparents. And when I went to send it to my mom, the text chain, instead of the real text chain, it popped up with my mom, like the last date of January 2017, which is the last time my dad was here with my son. Like, I've just had some weird pop-ups on my phone that I just think are signs, but I can't even believe I'm saying this because the old me wouldn't know what to make of it, but yeah.
They
are. And isn't it so much more fun to live in a world where that's happening?
Yes, sweetie, yes.
Because I also just had this big event over the weekend and my friend was like, oh, it's too bad your dad's not here. And then I got my third thing from him where a text chain popped up from like the last big event I did, like April 2025 was this. I was like the head of this parade, and my mom and I were like, oh, if only Dad were here. Photos popped up of that on my phone from some rando text chain, like dated April 2025. Like having just said, I wish, and then that morning, that's the only time I said, like, Dad, send me a sign on my phone. I actually said that. Send me a sign on my phone. And then I got those photos. Like, so now I'm full tilt.
Right.
But I'm fascinated to talk to you about this.
Yeah.
and
I
how you
could
get
tell
messages.
literally a million more. Like right before my daughter who applied to college, she loves this story. She's like, why don't you ever tell that story? She was freaking out, of course. It was right before she was supposed to hear early action or whatever it was. And I was like, okay, stay calm. Like, I didn't even say, give me a sign. I was like, me internally, I'm like, okay, just like hold this space for her. You know, she's anxious. I get in my car to drive. I'm in Chicago. So I get in my car and I pull up behind someone, and on their license plate, she was waiting to hear from University of Michigan. It was like a University of Michigan thing around the bumper sticker, around the bumper thing. Fine. Okay. That I could dismiss, right? Not that big of a deal. Then an old picture pops up on my phone of her dressed fully in Michigan gear.
Oh.
Okay. From like 4 years ago. Then I get this random email from someone that was in one of my courses, and she said, I just wanted to let you know I'm not going to be able to make it to our class on Monday. I'm going to be in Ann Arbor. And I was like, and I have a thing with threes too. Like when things happen in threes, I'm like, I got to pay attention to that. And my daughter got in. So again, like, I don't know, maybe I'm just saying that those were signs because, but I don't know. It was just a little bit, the license plate one I can dismiss. The other two just felt a little bit, maybe you could argue the algorithm in my phone, fine. It heard me talking about Michigan, who knows. But the last one, like this random woman telling me I'm going to be in Ann Arbor this weekend, like it just, you're just like, what? Right? Like you're like, huh? This isn't.
And like you said, it is more fun that way. Like, I mean, it's more fun to feel connected to something bigger
higher
than
yourself.
consciousness, or exactly, whatever we want to call it.
Yeah.
To plug into it.
And it's super fun to play. Yeah. It's so fun to start playing with that more too. To be like, Dad, come on, like show me how you're going to be here. What are you going to do?
Well, the license plate is a big one. It really is. And Steve's obsessed, my husband, with license plates and numbers and clocks, the time on the clock. But the most recent one that I've been kind of tuning into is the color pink vehicles. Pink vehicles. I pick pink because it's an unusual color for a car. And not long ago, we got lost going somewhere and we had to detour in Connecticut somewhere. And I look to the right and there's a pink school bus.
That's
Sweetie.
crazy.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Amy Robbins.
Well,
Crazy.
and here's the thing too, like the signs don't need to come through necessarily to us. So you just said a pink car. Perhaps one of the three of us will see a pink car. I had someone in one of my classes and she said, I just asked my husband to show me that he was a pink, I wanted flamingos, right? Totally random. I happened to be at my parents' house in Palm Springs. It was a rental. They never been here before. And I go into the closet to pull out a towel, and the towel is a giant pink flamingo. And I'm like, okay, like maybe the sign came to me to show to her, right? So it can work like that too. It's not always like direct to you, but you might have the experience where someone close to you just suddenly like sends you an email and they're like, hey, I just saw blah, blah, blah and was thinking of you or whatever it is. And you're like, oh, well, that's weird because I was just saying I wanted my father to send me this in this way. And I think oftentimes we then feel like, oh, well, I didn't see it specifically, or I didn't, I asked for it to show up as this and it didn't. But you have to be open to how it's going to show up. It's like this old parable where this man is waiting for God. and it's
Right.
flooding and the
Yes.
water's coming up higher, and this guy pulls up in a boat and says, I'm here to take you. And he says, no, I'm waiting for God. And then someone comes from a helicopter and he says, I'm here to rescue you. And the guy says, no, I'm waiting for God. And then he dies and he gets to heaven, and God says, and he meets God and he says, God, I was waiting for you. And God looks at him and says, well, I sent someone in a boat and I sent someone in a helicopter, and that was me. Like, so it's like, you don't necessarily need to be beat over the head with it to know that that's what it is. So be open, start trusting, start asking, start playing with the universe. It's so fun, like you both have experienced.
It's fun. You're
It's
right.
fun.
Yeah.
Fun is
And
a
it
word.
has to be.
Yes.
Fun is a word, like, I mean, we have fun on the show, but I don't think of like the word fun with like the universe. But even that thing of like, you know, my dad like saying, will you send me a message on my phone? I wasn't even thinking fun. I was thinking more like when that message popped up, I was like stunned, you know, but if you pull the camera back per se, like it's also fun and joyful to
Yes.
think.
Joy is the key. Yes.
Because you feel so like connected in that moment, in that one
Yes.
moment.
I have a question about like, I mean, you know, you said your aunt passed when she was 47, or like, I think of my dad, like, you know, missing out on all this stuff, you know? And I'm just wondering, like, when you connect with spirit or whatever you want to call it, I don't know how you refer, like, do you get sort of, I know you're getting messages to people, like they're going to be at the wedding, but do you get a sense of their being, you know, in beyond land? Like, I'm just curious about that.
Well, in one of my plant medicine journeys, my aunt was there, and the information that I got from her was more like, not that there was a missing, because my sense is like, this is like an infinite field of love and just connection. And so I think it's so hard for us intellectually to wrap our minds around what it would be like to not be in this physical body and to just feel like expansive and love. And so I don't get a sense that she was like, I'm missing this life. But she did share with me that she was grateful for the work that I was working through, so that her soul didn't have to come back and do more of that work. So it was like,
Wow.
I was healing something for her and her sort of working through me.
Wow.
That does answer it in terms of like, it's a different way of feeling and thinking that we can't really comprehend, I guess.
Right. I think near-death experiencers talk about that.
Just gonna blurt this out there, sweeties. Irene and I are loving Honey Love bras and shapewear. Yeah, it's true. You know, I used to think I always needed an underwire to get me through the day with these ladies. But the beauty of Honey Love is, I mean, I couldn't believe it. It's comfortable, it supports you, and it doesn't have an underwire. And also, they look cute. They don't look like you're walking around in a grandma bra. We're not there yet, ladies. No, there's no slipping. There's no constant adjusting. It's just a secure, flattering fit that always stays in place. And like I said, they're cute and comfortable. You don't feel like you're in a suit of armor, but you might as well be with the support you're going to get. Honey Love also, let me tell you this, Honey Love is an independent, female-founded brand, and all Honey Love products are intelligently designed by women who actually wear them. Yeah, including founder Betsy, who is highly involved in the development of each product. Let's be honest, finding the right bra as you get older can feel frustrating, humiliating. What used to work just doesn't anymore. You want lift, you want shape, you want support, right? But like I said, without the stiff wires digging in or bulky padding that feels outdated. And that's exactly where Honey Love stands out. Their bras are designed to provide lift and structure using innovative bonding technology instead of uncomfortable underwire. So you get that secure, lifted feel without the poking, pinching, or constant adjusting. And I gotta say this, Irene and I are also loving Honey Love shapewear because it smooths and supports, but you don't feel squeezed in and uncomfortable. You can get through the evening, it's nice and smoothed out, but without feeling like you're in pain. Again, designed by women. At the end of the day, this isn't about changing your body. It's about supporting it in a way that actually feels good. And Honey Love delivers that at every stage. So treat yourself to the most advanced bras and shapewear on the market. Use our exclusive link to save 20% off Honey Love at honeylove.com/woo. That's honeylove.com/woo. After you check out, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Experience the new standard in comfort and support with Honey Love.
So I just interviewed a couple people from IONS. Are you guys familiar with IONS, the Institute for Noetic Sciences? They do amazing research in this space. And one of the things that they've been talking about is this sort of theory, I don't know if it's new or not, but that the brain is actually more of like a transmitter radio. It's all about like what you're sort of dialed into. So if you're super dialed into this here and now, this material world, like that's the information you're going to receive. And when you can kind of tune your dial in another way, then you can, and I think it's a really good image to think about, like then you can tune into other frequencies, right? Like AM, FM, Spotify, like that's all out there. We just didn't push the button to tune into, you know, our favorite radio station or our favorite Spotify station.
I like the idea.
Yeah. And it's much easier to think of that way because it's like, okay, today I do want to tune into my higher self a little bit more. What is that vibration that I need to shift to tune into that? And then you sort of shift that vibration a little bit and then you can tune into it. Again, not easy, but a practice. But the more you do it, the more, and this is where I think like some mediums can be so successful and just drop right in. They've tuned their brain to that radio station where they're just like, okay, let me tune the dial. Let me move to that frequency. Now that's the information I'm getting.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. And what's that called again? The institute you mentioned?
Oh, IONS. Institute for Noetic Sciences. They're actually, I think a lot of, I can totally nerd out here, but a lot of academic institutions I feel like don't support this research because they think it's too far out there. But the Institute for Noetic Sciences is a freestanding research institution. So they're able to do a lot of the research on mediums. And I mean, I was just talking with someone about like, could there be the potential for thinking about how we think about schizophrenia as like, perhaps this is a range of a disorder. It's on a spectrum, like so many, I think, disorders are. And that some people, yes, it's genetic, it's passed down through families, but maybe for some people, it's that their brain is tuned into a frequency that cannot filter information in a way that makes them be able to live in this material space and time. And so could there potentially be like a new treatment that we could come up with where they learn how to filter that information differently so they don't feel like all this information is just coming at them without, I mean, I think we have evolved to filter out what we need. My dog, I don't doubt that my dog can smell things I can't smell. I'm not like, nope, he's not smelling that, right? Like he has not filtered that sense of smell. We, I think, have filtered out a lot of the noise so we can function. Although I'm not sure we're functioning so well, but
I feel like that about autism too, a broad spectrum of autism, same thing. You know, I've always thought that about schizophrenia as well. Not to say that some people are in desperate need of medication. However, I too agree with what you're saying. Like, what separates a schizophrenic from like sometimes a medium? A good agent, sweetie. Let me spell it out for you. Okay.
Exactly. But, and they're doing research on that at Yale.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is amazing because they're looking at, okay, why is a medium able to function in the world, but a schizophrenic cannot? Yeah. Maybe the world's messed up. I mean, we know it is, but right? Like,
oh yeah.
I was going to ask you on your podcast, you've already told us such amazing stories, but I was wondering if there's one that comes to mind of like, what's the most sort of mind-blowing story you've had on or one that comes to mind?
Okay. So my two favorites, not that I have favorite podcasts.
No, because then we can all go listen to these episodes. I mean, in addition to the whole podcast, but
of like 400 million episodes.
Yes, all 400, yes.
So, okay, there's two, and they're both one is more obscure than the other one. So one is this guy, you might have heard of him. He is, I forget his name, but he was struck by lightning. He was on a payphone. Have you heard this? And he was,
No.
Tony
sorry.
Chikora, I think is his name. And he was struck by lightning standing at a payphone, like on a campsite or something in a cabin. His whole family was there. And he described, orthopedic surgeon, he describes that he was running up the stairs after he was struck by lightning and his family was like running through him. So he experienced them like coming back. They were like coming through his body. And then he came back and became a pianist and an orthopedic surgeon. So like talk about both sides of your brain being activated. So I love that story. I don't know. There's something about people going through you that I feel like that would just wig me out. Like you come back from that and you're like, you just like ran through me. What was that? And the other one is this crazy story about this guy, Lionel Friedberg, I think his name was. And he wrote this book. I don't remember the book, but he talked about, he grew up in South Africa and he used to have what's called bones thrown for him. So it's like another way of sort of fortune telling where people, it's called throwing the bones. And so a lot of like these trained healers in these communities, they were like a shaman and they would throw your bones and it would predict your future. And he had 3 things that were like, one was like, you're going to meet someone who was like very instrumental in the Holocaust. And sure enough, like years later, he ends up doing this documentary with someone who flew the planes for Adolf Hitler. Like it was just, and then another, I mean, he had like several of these stories that were so predictive. And I just remember being like, how in the world can bones, animal bones, possibly show that? And it just felt like such an obscure story. And I never heard of throwing bones before. And then I interviewed as a follow-up his friend who's a cardiologist in California who learned to throw bones. I know.
Well, you know, it kind of makes sense to me in the way that bones contain memories. You know, everything's in our DNA. Anything that once lived, I feel like always contains memories somehow and is connected. So maybe that's, I don't know. I'm just spitballing, sweetie.
Yeah. And we're all so connected, right? Like everything is connected. Old, new, past life, present life. I mean, I had the trippiest experience even just today before I went to this healing. Like part of releasing energy, sometimes I scream, I move my body. Like we hear about somatic healing, right? It's like movement through your body. And I was laying there and I was like doing this weird movement thing. And people are going to be like, who is this crazy lady talking about this?
No.
And I had this experience that I had already done this. Like I remember, but it wasn't a dream. But I was like, I know that I, in my mind at some point was talking to myself, like, you're going to be doing this. And then I was doing it. And I'm like, what was, like, did timelines get crossed? Like, did this already happen? Did I see it happen? And so I think more people are starting to have these experiences. Like, it wasn't a deja vu. It wasn't a dream. It was clearly like, it felt like lines got crossed somehow. I don't know what it was, but it was trippy.
You should listen to, we have an episode, one of our first episodes, it's about time travel and it's the craze. It's one of our most, like if you ask me what's the craziest story we've had on, it's that time travel one because it makes it very believable. So
I'm going to go listen.
And speaking of believable, I think it's cool that like whenever we talk to sort of a practitioner or someone that's, you know, gifted or whatever, I think what strikes me as always is like, you're not trying to convince anyone. You're not like, no, really, this really happened. You're just like, this is my experience walking this earth. Like, believe it or not, take from it what you will. And that's what we find, I think, more and more as we do this. Like, no one's trying to sell you something on this or like with their experiences or gifts or whatever. It's just, we're hearing this is your story and how you experience things.
Right. And
sharing.
Exactly. I remember when I first started my podcast and people were like, are you crazy? You're going to lose referral sources. And I was like, I might, but this is my truth. And all I want to do is speak my truth. And once I was able to move into that place, I didn't care whether or not people believed me. It's not for me to convince anybody that this is true. It's just telling the story, believe it or
Right.
not. Maybe be a little curious, maybe open yourself up if I could get you just to open yourself up just a smidge to play with it, maybe things will ease a little bit for you. Maybe the universe will start to play with you. Maybe things will be a little bit more joyful. I'm not saying like this is going to cure everything, but when you feel in deep connection with something bigger than yourself, and this is my whole passion about spirituality, the world is just, it like you were saying, Irene, like things just flow. They just come in. It doesn't, you're not fighting the waves of life so hard. It's just a little bit easier.
I love that.
I love that. Surrender. I love it.
Surrender. Let it go.
Now, we also do, I always feel silly doing this with practitioners of woo-woo, but we do this pendulum reading too. I don't know if you know that.
Okay. I have a pendulum and I have dowsing rods.
Oh,
okay. So
amazing.
you know then.
I mean, not here, but.
Right. But if you want to ask a yes or no question and keep it to yourself, and then we'll do our reading and then you can reveal it.
Okay.
Are you cool with that?
Yes.
Okay. So do you want to think it and then you'll tell us after we get our answer? Okay.
Okay. I'm
You're
thinking it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. I got an instant answer. Irene, did you?
Hold on a second.
Sometimes Irene and I don't match.
Wait, I got yes on this one though.
Okay. I got yes too.
Yes,
we both
yes
got
to this.
yes.
We both got yeses.
What was your question?
It was about my business venture that I'm like moving into more. And is it because I feel like I'm at a
promising.
tipping point and I'm waiting for it to kind of really
All right.
move forward.
Well, we got a yes.
We did
So
get a
there.
yes.
So, okay. First of all, thank you so much for
Oh my
joining
gosh,
us. Because
thank
this
you.
was
This was so fun.
I feel like we had the 1-2 punch of like usually we vary up the topic a little, but like I mean they're different, but just like last week's plus this are both like like Irene, it's both like jetting us to go to higher consciousness.
That's right. We're
to
climbing.
pursue our higher selves.
That's
Yes.
right. We're climbing
and
etherically.
tune in.
That's
Boo, boo,
right.
boo, boo, boo. I'm
Tune
tuning
in.
into you, Amy. Okay, sorry, Irene. What were you going?
I just wanted to add when you were talking about the lightning thing, when somebody got struck, when we were doing this podcast in the very beginning, I read an article and I knew somebody personally. Who got struck by lightning and then came back with like abilities.
Yeah.
And then, but then I found this article that also supported that. So it's not surprising that the podcast that you're talking about, like the whole thing, it's like your dad coming through, Rachel, through the cell phone. I just believe we're energy and we find our way through energy. And the fact that he got struck by lightning was just like this surge that opened up the energy field and he brought back some abilities, you know?
And I think, I mean, I could just keep talking.
Okay, yeah. That's
No,
right.
please do, by the way.
okay.
No, what were we going to say?
No. So I do think like energetically, right? We are energetic beings. And so you can have an experience like that, but you can also I interviewed some guy who said he was on a massage table and all of a sudden he felt his body completely dissolve and felt completely one with the universe and everything was unity. And then he like came back and had to go back to work and ended up in a whole bipolar episode because of it. But there are so many people that have these awakenings. They have these, it's not necessarily a near-death experience, but it can, that's one. But there are so many others and they don't know how to integrate them. They don't know how to make sense of it. Like I heard I wish, I can't remember her name, the woman who was just on last week.
Ellen Ware.
Ellen. But Ellen was saying like, she was 12 when it happened. She said she didn't speak about it until she was 30. I mean, this is part of why I'm the business that I asked about, where you got the yes, why I'm so passionate about it, is because how many people are out there walking around, they've had these experiences and they don't know how to integrate them. And they go to therapy because they're depressed because they had a near-death experience and they like saw the world differently, but now they're back here living in this material space and time. And they're like, oh no, now what? How do I make sense of that? They don't know how. And the therapists don't know how because the therapists don't know that these experiences exist. And if they do, they don't know if they believe them or not. And if they do, then they don't know what to do with them. So it's just like I was listening to her thinking, and this is exactly why I'm so passionate about what I want to do, because I want people to be able to go to their therapist and say, listen, I miss my dad terribly, but look at what just happened. Like he had this he's communicating with me through my phone. And the therapist not going, all right, like, here's the name of the psychiatrist you need to talk to, or that's wishful thinking, or, you're just grieving and you're creating something in your mind that's not real. No, this is real. This is very, very real.
Yeah.
Do people seek you out specifically knowing that you are open? Like, are you kind of known in your practice? I mean, I'm sure you have a regular practice happening, but
yes,
do people know about this and seek you?
Now, yes, more so. For sure. And now people are starting to say, like, I want I call it, my course is called Spiritually Informed Therapy. They're like, I want a spiritually informed therapist.
Cool.
And it's because people want to be able to talk about this. It's such an important part of people's journeys. It's such an important part of their healing. And we shouldn't be cutting it off. We should be encouraging them, not just bypassing their emotions, but this can be a real part of it.
So tell us the name of your pod again if people want to go listen.
Sure. It's Life, Death, and the Space Between.
Life, Death, and the Space Between.
And it is a very robust library. Some storytelling, a lot of research, a combination, conscious. Oh, and you were saying earlier, like, I talk to people who talk about like seeing extraterrestrial light beings and traveling, channeling, spirits, all of it. So I am willing to go. I just had someone on a couple weeks ago who talked about like these interdimensional light beings that were in her living room. I'm like, okay, who am I to say that's not possible?
All right. There's a full menu on board.
And research scientists. So I cover all of it. I cover all of it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This was so fun and informative.
Thank you.
Spiritually uplifting.
Great.
And you can find me on Instagram at @RaeDratch. That's RAE Dratch. And you can find Irene at Irene Bremis. That's BREMIS Bremis. And thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the world of woo-woo. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Woo-woo with Rachel Dratch is a Q-Code production. Executive produced by David Henning and Steve Wilson. Produced by Alexa Gabrielle Ramirez. Edited by Will Tendy.